Welcome to Day by Day. It's Monday, which means it's Day by Day Hacks, where we learn some tips and tricks on just having a personal time with the Lord. And this Monday, I have a good friend with me from our church, Landon Davis. And so, Landon, welcome to the podcast here on Day by Day Hacks. I've got something I want to talk about, okay? Because normally, what I try to do on Day by Day Hacks is to bring people in who are not formally in the ministry, but something has happened recently in your life that kind of makes this a unique situation. So tell us what's going on in your life just over the last several months.
Okay, so around December, January, I started feeling led to go towards full-time ministry, and then, of course, I talked to you about what that might look like, and was feeling led to maybe end up teaching in a seminary, and then through that knowing I needed to go to seminary and pursue further education. And then since then I've been on a couple mission trips and started feeling like, okay, maybe it's missions I'm supposed to be getting into, and then preached this past Sunday, and now it's like, well, is pastoring where it's headed? Is just being open to wherever I feel God is leading me, but starting seminary this coming month and looking forward to that, and looking forward to where I do end up in the ministry.
Yeah, so vocational ministry as a calling is what God has placed on your plate, and where that ends up is just up to the Lord, and you're willing to follow. That's right. No matter what that may be. And so I'm kind of breaking the rules by having you on here, since you are now kind of in the ministry formally, but all Christians are part of being in the ministry, and that's really why I wanted to bring you on, because I know that you are, even before this calling that has been placed on your life, you were consistent in your time with the Lord. And over the last couple of months, that's what we've been talking about. And I want to talk to you in particular about one aspect of your time with the Lord, and that is Scripture memory, memorizing Scripture. So can you just tell us why that is important to begin with?
Well, there's a few reasons it's very important to me. First off, Psalm 119:11, I've stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. So we have these commands, promises in our minds if we memorize Scripture so we don't sin. Yeah. And we see in Matthew 4, Jesus, he went back when he was tempted to Scripture, and he said, it is written, it is written. So he knew not to fall into temptation. And then another thing that I see that is very important is just being able to apply this Scripture and connect it to this when I'm reading this, and be like, okay, so I can relate those two things together, and it just deepens and makes reading more fruitful. Yeah.
So it's for defense. It's for to be able to fight sin, but it also helps maybe clarify other parts of the Bible whenever you are reading it. So let me ask you this: whenever you first started, how long have you been having a consistent quiet time?
Consistently, I guess about 2 years.
Okay. When you started, was Scripture memory automatically a part of that, or is that something that you kind of grew into?
Well, when I started having a consistent quiet time, it was because of doing Master Life with Bruce Garrett in our church. And in that, learning to have a consistent quiet time, part of what you get up front in that class was it's important to memorize Scripture. Right. So kind of when I started that, it was just thrown at me like, you do this along with that.
Right. So it was built in from the beginning for you. What I would say for people maybe starting out, just trying to figure out this quiet time thing is, okay, I need to have that in my mind that I want to do that. I want to get to that eventually in Scripture memory. And I want to say to you that if you're just reading the Bible right now, if you're just starting out, just read the Bible and get that consistent. And then the Scripture memory is something that will become a part of it. But it is important, and it's important to understand the necessity of building that in. And so for you guys out there, that's kind of your tip and trick that we're going to talk about in the weeks to come on how to memorize Scripture. But for you to know that Scripture memory does need to become a vital part of your time alone with the Lord. And so until next time on Day by Day Hacks.